Hi everyone, it's Joe. Welcome back to another ramble. It is Saturday, January 17th at 11:42 p.m. EST. Heads up, I am fully prepared to pause a lot in this ramble because the person I share a bathroom with has been so noisy today. Whether he's in his room, in the bathroom, in the hallway. I have been on the phone today multiple times with my mom. For a number of reasons, and every single time I'm on the phone, she has to stop and is like, what is what, she'll hear something what is that, and it's the guy I share a bathroom with in his room being absurdly loud. So I'm doing this right now because for once today it is quiet. I don't expect it to last long, but I figure I might as well take advantage of it. Anyway, let's get into that ramble. Today was kind of tough, so I don't think it'll be, today was just not a great day. But let me get you up on what I did after the ramble last night. After the ramble last night, I can't think of when we... Oh boy, I have to pause already. Alright, give me 1 sec. Okay, I think we're good, but don't be surprised if I have to do that again, a lot. So yeah, after the ramble last night, I basically just watched The Wire. Went to bed at 12:30. Woke up today at 10 something. Got dressed, took out the trash, hid all the things that needed to be hidden. Went and got breakfast, and then came back here, and my parents were here. And then stuff just went downhill. And I mean, it's my fault, but it just... So they came in, and we got in my room. And then, for those that don't remember, my dad was here to replace a battery in my power chair. So he came in with all this stuff, and my mom was here too. And so he comes over to my desk and just starts moving everything. That way he can put his tools and stuff down, which is fine. But he starts moving it all, and then my mom, trying to joke about it, is oh, or no. So he starts moving it, and my dad's like, yeah, you're gonna have to move this back when we leave. While he's actively moving stuff around. And then my mom, trying to joke about it, is it's just coming in like a wrecking ball. And, that is fine. I knew he was going to have to move stuff. But it was just... that for some reason, on top of the fact that, I already have to, hide stuff and move stuff, for them to come here. Otherwise, they'll have heart attacks or something. Because trans scary. So... when he said that, it just oh my god. Give me 1 sec. Okay, now my luck, we're only going to be good for 30 more seconds, and then I have to pause again. I'm so sorry. This is just adding on top of the not great day I had. As I was saying, so my dad just said he's yeah, we're gonna have to move this stuff. It just piled on in my brain. It was oh, great, not only do I have to move that stuff back, I also have to move all the stuff that I keep hidden, because if you all see it, you'll die. And it just piled on and just set my mood off. I know, you're probably all saying they're Joe, you're overreacting, this is all your fault. And you're not wrong. It just, for some reason, it set me off. And then all I could feel inside of me was boiling rage and anger. And I didn't know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle emotions like that. I never know how to handle it. Normal, well, I don't want to say normal, but people get mad, and I hear things about they yell, they scream, they hit things. I'd rather not hit things, but they let it out in some way. Well, I never gained a way to do that. I just have to sit with it until it disappears, because I don't yell or scream, and I don't hit things, and I don't know how to get rid of it, so I just have to sit with it till it's gone. So at this point, I'm I'm irritated, I'm mad, and I shouldn't be, but I am. So my brain is okay, if you say a word to anybody, my mom and my dad, I'm gonna like fly off the handle, and I'm gonna say things that should not be said. So my brain cooks up the idea. It's like, all right, you're gonna get in your like, your swivel, like desk chair. You're gonna sit in your chair and you're gonna sit in the corner, out of the way of the repair squad, and you're just gonna watch your show with your headphones on, and you're just gonna do that. So I'm doing that, and then my mom is like trying to talk to me and like do whatever. And I didn't hear her because I had my headphones on. I was watching my show. So I turned and I said, "What?" And I set my headphone off, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had your headphones on. I'm sorry to interrupt you." And then she asked me whatever she asked, and then like she stopped asking me whatever, because she was like, "Oh, I'm interrupting." So so then I'm sitting there watching my show, and like I'm just not saying anything. I'm just watching. So finally, like he gets done, and so I hop in my chair and I test the battery. Like I drive it up and down the hall like a few times, which I mean isn't really a test, but just to make sure the chair is functioning is the test, I suppose. So then like I'm just it's like, okay, the chair works. So I come back in, I sit back down, and then like they're they can see that I am like upset and angry, and they're like, is everything fine? Is everything okay? And I'm like, yep, everything's fine. And they're like, did we do something? And I'm like, nope, you didn't do anything. They're like, are you mad at us? I'm like, nope, not mad at you. And then they're like, do you want to, like, they assumed that I would want to like go somewhere or like do something while they were here, like to make it more of a fun visit kind of situation. And I was just like, yeah, nope. You came here to fix the chair. Like, that's why you're here. The chair's fixed. You can leave now. And so my mom was like, well, I came to visit. She's also gonna be here next week, and like we're actually gonna like do stuff. But yeah, I was just like, I was just in like a very bad mood. And I didn't know how to handle it. So then my mom and dad were leaving, and pretty sure my mom was about to start crying, which is not great to admit on here, because if somebody actually does watch this far, I'm probably gonna get ripped to shreds in the comments, and they're gonna be like, Joe, what is wrong with you? Like I said, not my greatest moment, I'll admit. I legitimately messed up today. And I'm willing to admit that and acknowledge that, and I know. So if you're gonna rip me a new one for that, let the record show I'm well aware that I made a mistake today. So they left, and then like 2 or 3 hours later, I called my mom, and I was like, I was telling her, I'm like, I'm really sorry, and I was explaining to her what the deal was and like what set me off, and she was like, she said, she's like, I appreciate, or no, I think she said we, like she and my dad. She's like, we appreciate that you put things away so we don't have to see them, because she's like, it's really hard for us, but she's like, also, but it's not fair for you to have to like put, to have to hide stuff like this and have to pretend to be someone you're not. And she's like, and I know it's hard because you have to pretend, when we're visiting here, and you have to pretend at home. So like, she gets it, to an extent, and she acknowledges that it's like this kind of, she gets why I'm like upset, but like, but we're good now. I was like, I told her I was really sorry. I said like, I'm sorry a bunch, because I legitimately feel really bad. And I said, I know I handled that poorly. I'm like, I told you guys, I just don't know how to handle emotions like that. Typically, I would, I like have my bestie to talk to or something. I say or something, but I don't know what the or something is, because I guess I don't really talk to anybody else about that stuff either. So I guess I guess play a game, but like I couldn't really play a game while they were doing that. So it's like I don't know. Like that's all I could think to do, which is not a good way to handle it, but it's the route I chose, I guess. So she'll be back down next weekend, and we're gonna like actually like do stuff, because she was originally just gonna go. She was just gonna visit next weekend, but she wanted to come along this weekend to see me. And then, this happened, and I handled this whole entire situation terribly. Also, I sent my dad a text, basically the same apology that I gave, except I didn't give him the explicit reason as to why I was upset. I just said I was in a bad mood, and I handled it poorly. I didn't know how to. So he said, well, next time, he's like, just tell us you're in a bad mood. Which I just, I don't know. I struggle talking about this stuff. But I think they know that. I think my mom was like, my mom even said, she's like, I know it's hard to talk about this stuff, especially with us, since we have different views than you. But yeah, I hear you asking, no, Joe, why did you call your mom and only text your dad? Well, that's because my dad is terrifying, and I figured he would ask what my reason is. And I was not about to have that conversation with him since, me and my mom, we kind of talk about it a little bit. Me and my dad, we don't talk about it at all. Basically, with both of them, we just pretend it doesn't exist. But my mom, we can at least talk about it a little bit. It's I don't talk about it with my dad at all. So that was how my visit went. It went horribly, and it's all my fault, and I messed it up. But then around 5, I DoorDashed Taco Bell here, because tacos make everything better. So I had chips and cheese, a double. Oh, do I have to pause again? Maybe we're good. I had a double beef burrito and a crispy chicken cantina taco, which I'd never had either of these before. They were both pretty good though. I know tomorrow my mom, she brought some soup when she visited today, so tomorrow I'm probably going to have the soup, and then Monday, I don't know, I might order food again, since Monday I don't have school, and holiday, so, yeah, been watching The Wire since then. I did some, I just checking deals and stuff. I'm probably going to buy the Switch 2 Animal Crossing upgrade for $5 and check out the new update when I get off the ramble. And maybe I'll save that for tomorrow, when it's daytime and normal Animal Crossing stuff is operating, since stuff typically isn't operating at 11:56 p.m. But we'll see. I might play a game. I don't know. Just trying to relax after the train wreck that was earlier. Oh, also I think I got my paper done for Earth History. I think. Based on the feedback, I did better than I thought I was going to do. So I think I got it done. I don't know. It's not due till Tuesday at 11:59 a.m., so I've still got a little bit of time to figure it out, though, which is good. But yeah, so I know. Before you all rip me a new one, if you haven't already, I'm well aware I messed up today. It's no excuse, but I don't know how to handle emotions like anger and rage and upsetness and any of that. I don't know how to handle it. I never have, really. Other than also running my mouth off and saying things that shouldn't be said to people. Hence why the whole, not speaking thing and just sitting in a corner. But I think I'm going to wrap it up here. As always, if you like you're listening to, hit like, leave feedback in the comments below, subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay up to date on things I post. Follow me on Twitter if you feel so inclined to do so. The link for that will be in the description. And as always, your support means the world to me, and I love you all, but most importantly, I miss my bestie more than anyone else this entire world, and I cannot wait till I get to talk to her again, hang out with her, do stuff with her, complain about days like this where I make severe mistakes and lapse in judgments. But I'll be back tomorrow with another ramble. Until then, bye.